Geordie Journo's back again as a twosome at St James's Park, where Newcastle United could get used to this winning feeling. Cellar Cup 2024. They've done it again, Jordan. 1-0 win over Brest. Wasn't quite as plain sailing as the game against Girona. A bit more of a challenge, less eventful game, but hey, more minutes in the tank to end pre-season and a trophy at the end of it.
Yeah, that was the key today, because looking at our start 11, there wasn't a lot of pre-season minutes in that.
No.
Start 11, bar probably the exception of Harvey Barnes maybe. You go through the team, Martin Dubravka, Kieran Trippier are making their first appearances of the summer. Lloyd Kelly and Fabian Schär were making only their second appearances.
Joe Willock.
Joe Willock was the same. Who was the left back?
Jamal Lewis, who's
Jamal
been
Lewis.
in and out.
Yeah, who's been around. And then Bruno as well has only made one appearance so far. You then had the front three of, I think Almiron's made a couple of 45 minutes there, and then Willisula debut, which I think we can come on to later, but you asked Eddie Howe in the press conference about Willisula, and it was, he actually had concussion before he arrived at Newcastle, so I think he missed 7 or 8 days training before he ended up training with Newcastle at the start of the week when he joined. So yeah, there's not a lot of minutes in that team. I think they'll benefit from that today. It wasn't pretty at all. I think it was a lively start. First 15 minutes was good. They took the lead. Good finish by Harvey Barnes.
Hey,
a trademarked Harvey Barnes finish.
Another thing we manifested on this channel.
Yeah,
no, fair play. He shut us up.
It was a typical Harvey Barnes finish. How many times has he done that in his career, where he gets in that right foot, and if he creates that bit of space, he's got a great finish. So yeah, maybe give Eddie Howe a headache ahead of next week in terms of him and Anthony Gordon. I mentioned my feelings on yesterday. I think Anthony Gordon should start, but Harvey Barnes, I think that was an important goal for him, having been wasteful in pre-season.
Well, he missed a good chance.
Yeah, he was.
Before,
I mean, he was still
headed wide. He got involved. I think after he scored, he sort of, as Newcastle did as a team, just sort of shut up shop and didn't really create much more. Willisula had that chance where he put away, but offside. Flag went up. Harvey Barnes, good to see him score. Good to get that scoring feeling back, because we, as people have pointed out, we have been critical of Harvey Barnes in pre-season because he has been getting those chances that he got throughout last season and put away last season. He wasn't putting them away so far in pre-season, but he took his goal very well today. So that was promising to see. Hopefully more to come from Harvey Barnes in that regard this coming season.
It was one of the only stand-up moments, because as I say, from that 50 minutes onwards point, Newcastle couldn't build on that early momentum, rarely tested the goalkeeper. I think Stade Brestois were probably the better side, and I say they edged it, but they didn't. Although Martin Dubravka and Odysseus Vlachodimos were the busy other two goalkeepers, they didn't really create too many clear-cut opportunities. No. But it felt like they had a lot of shots on goal in Newcastle in many ways, just done a sort of defensive job in the end. So yeah, I think if you look at the performance, it wasn't great, but as I mentioned, a lot of minutes in that team now, which was really important, because there was a lot of players that hadn't played many. So I think that's the most important thing. And yeah, I thought it was a very lively debut from Willisula. I really liked him in that first half. Some size. Yeah, I know Eddie Howe mentioned in the press conference 6'3" version on 6'4", and of course that suggests that someone is tall. But standing in front, when he's standing in front of us in the press box, he's incredible size.
Imposing, a physical specimen, and usually a big, tall, physical frame like him, you maybe go, oh, he might not be the fastest, but he is rapid as well. You saw that the first few minutes, he burst away.
Almiron set him free.
Yes, Miguel Almiron plays him in down the right, and the angle is against him, but he gets a shot away. He just strode clear of the defender, and I think Willisula is sort of a perfect third choice, striker because of that physical test he will give defenders. Maybe technically he's not all there, he's still a bit raw, he's still got stuff to learn, and tactically as well, but if you need a player to come on for 10-15 minutes here and there and cause a bit of physical problems, put defenders on the back foot, keep them on the toes, that's the type of player Newcastle need to supplement Alexander Isak, Callum Wilson. If Newcastle are winning 2-0, the comfortable 20 minutes to go, that's Willisula time. And that's what Newcastle lacked last season. That's what they needed when they were trying to hold on to a win against PSG. Alexander Isak is dead on his feet. You needed a player just with the physical attributes that Will Asula has.
Just come on and stretch the
who's
defence.
raw. He might not score a goal, but he'll keep defenders busy.
Yeah, well, I mean,
that's what Newcastle needs.
You seen today, he liked to play on the shoulder because he had 2 opportunities. It was the Almiron one that you mentioned where he had that shot save from a tight angle, and then the goal that he had that was offside. It was really well taken.
Yes.
Just missed time. His run, it was marginal. Great touch to set himself into the box, and then it was a lovely right-footed finish in the bottom corner. I think there's a lot of raw attributes there. You can see exactly why Newcastle actually want to sign him, and I think for the price that they paid, the £15 million, if they can get that transfer right, it's a great deal. Because what Eddie Howe pointed out earlier in the week, where a striker was needed, but they've got positions that are more pressing, where they need to go and dedicate a lot more money to strengthen other areas, like a centre back, like a right forward. And that striker position, although it's a position you need to strengthen, they've already got Alexander Isak, who, when fit, no one touches him.
Yeah.
And then you've got Callum Wilson, injury record, yes, but it's still a quality Premier League
Probably
striker.
the best second choice striker in the Premier League.
So they've found a player who has got these raw attributes and can learn from the likes of Alexander Isak and Callum Wilson. So really positive signs from him today. I really liked him. I didn't know a lot about him until he came, but as I say, in that first half, I seen a lot that I really liked, and if they can nurture it, then yeah, he could be a very good player.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's just an ideal signing, because we always spoke about Newcastle absolutely need a third striker, but there was no point going out spending 50 million on a striker who will directly challenge Alexander Isak, because Alexander Isak is the man. He should start every game when fit, and rotate it out here and there for Callum Wilson when needed. But yeah, they needed a young, hungry striker who can improve, who has the physical attributes to actually cause defenders problems in the Premier League. And Will Asula, look, he's got to break his duck in the Premier League. He's got to show he can score. That's what he'll ultimately be judged on. But I think as a third choice striker, ideal signing based on the 70 or so minutes he got today.
Yeah.
But yeah, early signs certainly look positive from him. And anyone else who you took a shine to today?
Martin Dubravka.
Yeah, to be fair, 45 minutes he made one very good save, I thought. I was
surprised to see him involved, to be honest. I thought Eddie Howard sort of played these cards last week when Dubravka was left out for the second game in Tokyo, and Vlachodimos got the nod, but yeah, he put him in from the start of the day, played 45 minutes, pulled off 2 really good saves to keep the score 1-0, and then Vlachodimos came on for the second half. But yeah, that goalkeeping department needs to be trimmed down. It's such an obvious position to be trimmed down, and I still probably think that Martin Dubravka will be the man to go, because I can't imagine Vlachodimos came in to be third choice. I think he's probably, although obviously it was in a sort of a trade-off, and Nottingham Forest would have some kind of assurances that he'll be able to try and rival Nick Pope for the #1 jersey, whereas Martin Dubravka, during his time at Newcastle, under Eddie Howe anyway, has felt like a bit part, I think, because when Nick Pope first joined, Martin Dubravka was straight out the team. He then obviously went.
He was the only one as well.
It was, yeah.
Eddie Howe was like, I show loyalty to my players, and he did, with the likes of Matt Targett, Dan Burn, despite signing Sven Botman.
Yeah.
Bruno had to wait, but Nick Pope straight in.
Yeah, it was, yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Sorry, I've ruined your point.
No, it's fine.
Isak was another one as well.
Yes, I mean, just back on Dubravka, I do think if you're looking at goalkeepers, he's the obvious choice.
Yeah.
So we'll wait and see on that one, but opening 45 minutes.
Was it a farewell appearance? That's what I sort of questioned.
It could be. I mean, the only thing I'd say about Dubravka is, I think I mentioned this. Have I mentioned this already? I feel like I've said it before, just about the clubs that would come forward now, because we're at that time in the window where clubs aren't chasing a #1 goalkeeper.
Yeah. You want them in for the start of pre-season, really, don't you?
Yeah. So maybe he will stick around, and maybe he will be third or second choice, and maybe
can't run with 5 keepers.
It would be silly, especially when they went out and signed another one and John Ruddy as well.
Yes.
And then you would have Mark Gillespie below that. You've like 5 goalkeepers is a ridiculous amount to carry. So it's an obvious position to trim down. Martin Dubravka for me is the obvious candidate, but maybe it doesn't play out the way that we think it is, and maybe Eddie Howe will run with 5 goalkeepers, which, as I say, is silly in my opinion. But if they can't ship Dubravka, because you look at that goalkeeping department, it's the only one that they would look to offload now, wouldn't it? because you've signed 2 in Vakademos and Ruddy. You've got Nick Pope, who's the number 1, and then Mark Gillespie's just signed a new contract. So as I say, it's like literally Martin Dubravka's the one that you'd think would go, but there's been no movement since, because it sounded like early in the summer you might have a move lined up. Celtic were looking for a veteran goalkeeper. They went and signed Kasper Schmeichel. There's been interest from Saudi and with Dubravka, but the noise of Dubravka and clubs interested has sort of dried up. But I'm sure that there's just under 3 weeks left. These things can change quite quickly. So if there's a goalkeeper to go, I'd assume it would be him.
Yeah, I think it has to be. But time is running out, and like you say, I think with the season a week away, teams want a goalkeeper settled in the squad, ready to go, because it is a position, it's a very important position, and goalkeepers, you almost feel like they have to be settled in the team before you really use them. You never just throw goalkeepers in and out and sub them on, for example. So yeah, it's an interesting one. Elsewhere in the squad, we saw Kieran Trippier for the first time, 70 minutes for him. Eddie Howe was pleased. I thought he looked... I think he should start next week. I'll put that statement out there. I've seen Tino Livramento throughout pre-season, and I love Tino Livramento. I think he offers a lot in a lot of ways, but he simply does not have the quality in the final third, putting balls into the box that Kieran Trippier does, and Kieran Trippier showed that today.
I've seen that today. It was 3 balls in the first half. He created 3 opportunities. I actually agree with you. I mean, maybe for the purpose of the video, I should probably disagree.
Yeah.
But I see the argument in starting Kieran Trippier. I think he's been written off in many people's eyes because of all the talk around him potentially leaving, sort of the injury back end last season, the errors that crept in around December, January time. I think there's a lot of people forget how good Kieran Trippier is, and look, maybe he's at that age now where errors are creeping onto his game, but for 90% of the time, I think you've got a really solid, experienced defender who, let's not forget, since he signed for the club, and the way Newcastle play that right-hand side, a lot has came from him. 10 assists last season.
Yeah, incredible.
Which is for a right back. I think that was like the joint 3rd highest in the Premier League. I'm only saying this because I wrote a piece on it earlier this week. But
check it out.
Yeah, I can't remember which piece it was now, but I did write this. Why I know that. But yeah, I do think a lot of people forget how good he is, and if Kieran Trippier starts next week, he won't hear any complaints from me or you.
No,
I think on the flip side of that, though, I do think Tino Livramento has probably earned these players because of the minutes he's had in pre-season. Now, this might be a sort of controversial opinion. I don't think Tino Livramento's had the best of pre-seasons. I think he was one of the players that struggled in Tokyo, but you've got to caveat that with the fact that it was really hot and humid, and there was a lot of players that didn't perform well in Tokyo. Hull, I can't remember him really standing out. Yesterday, I thought he's much better. We still asked questions defensively, but obviously got an assist for the first goal for Sean Longstaff's goal. So yeah, I see the argument for both. But if I had to go for a punt, I would agree with you, and I'd probably go with Trippier, to be honest.
I think if Kieran Trippier gets sold, which at one stage looked likely and still could happen in the final few weeks of the window, I think we'll quickly start to miss Kieran Trippier. I think he will be missed from Newcastle.
It was good to see him back today.
Yeah, just because of that quality. I think Tino Livramento is the future. He's still only 21.
Yeah.
And he still admits himself in the final third he's got a lot to improve on in terms of delivery. He got an assist yesterday against Girona, but in terms of delivery, crossing the ball into the box, he does need to improve in that area, and that can happen. That you can develop that in the space of a few months and then be a transformed player on the back of it. But Kieran Trippier, I think you know what you're going to get. There's a consistency to him and a quality to him, and I think if Kieran Trippier is out of Newcastle's side, they do miss him. And it's no coincidence that the way Newcastle plays, basically, it's based around Kieran Trippier. He has the most touches of any player on any given game, really. Him and Bruno, that's almost the core, even though Kieran Trippier's out wide. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Newcastle adapt if Kieran Trippier does indeed leave, and then they'll have to use a different type of player, maybe a more athletic player with maybe less technical ability in Tino Livramento, and see how they adapt to that this coming season. So yeah, that's one to watch. But yeah, for me, if Kieran Trippier's still at the club, he's my starting right back heading into the new season.
Yeah, agreed. Should we stay down that right side and maybe talk right side. Joe Willock was on the right side. And I'm trying to transition to something here, and I've totally balls that up.
Alfie Harrison was.
Well, yeah, we could. Yeah, he was first 10 minutes. He was.
He got involved.
He played 2 really positive balls forward into the wide areas and got Newcastle on the attack. I thought he faded after that, but yeah, it was a good little cameo from him.
It's what pre-season's for, isn't it? We've seen quite a few of the young lads get involved, play a few minutes. We saw last pre-season, Louis Miley was the star of the show, and then we saw him actually, through injuries and lack of availability in the midfield, became a regular starter for a period. So yeah, you never know what's going to happen. We said today when we were watching Trevor Sanusi, who's been sort of that academy player star of pre-season, if you like, for Newcastle, who's looked quite exciting. If he is playing regularly in the Premier League for Newcastle this coming season, with all due respect to Trevor Sanusi, he's 17 years old. He's only just broken into the under-21. Something's probably gone wrong. There's probably some sort of injury. And this is a very competitive position on the left wing where you've got Harvey Barnes, you've got Anthony Gordon. It's over £80 million worth of talent.
Joe Linton as well can play there. For
exactly, yeah. So, yeah. So you wanted to touch on Joe Willock?
I was going to touch on Joe Willock, yeah, because I think he was. I'm going to say he played 90 minutes. It was 89.
It was so close. We wanted him to play 90 minutes, and he got so close.
But I'm trying to think the last time Joe Willock played 90 minutes. I don't, because he obviously came back last season and played games, but I don't think he played 90 minutes in those games. So I think that's Joe Willock's first 89/90 minutes for since the season before last, which can only be positive. I thought.
We'll fact check that.
I don't think he played 90 minutes last year.
Are you going to have a look? Keep going while I have a look.
I don't like when you do this because I go under pressure to speak by myself. But I thought first half he was lively.
We'll make statements first and then look them up
check
later.
Them after. Yeah, not all journalists do this, just us. But I thought he linked up really well with Jamal Lewis in the first half. I mean, there was a couple of times where Jamal Lewis overlapped and Joe Willock couldn't quite find him, but he built up a little bit of understanding with him and Harvey Barnes. I thought he faded a bit in the second half, but as I say, he got those minutes under his belt, and I think that's a major positive. If indeed the stat which you're about to pull up here is true.
He played 90 minutes against Bournemouth away last year.
Oh.
You nearly had it. Had it. But then he was injured. Never seen again until much later on.
It was his second 90 minutes.
It's his first 90 minutes of 2024.
Yeah,
so.
Right. There we go. Found some way for it to work.
It's another option because Joe Willock, I think, at full tilt is an excellent player for Newcastle. Yeah. I think he complements Alexander Isak really well.
Very different than any midfielder they've got. Where just how he's quick, breaks the lines, dynamic, and they've really missed that. I don't think he'll be in the team for the first game of the season, mate.
No. Okay, now we've seen all of pre-season. What's your opening pre-season starting 11?
Right. Nick Pope in goal.
Yeah, picks himself.
Kieran Trippier.
Okay.
Fabian Schär.
Yes.
Dan Burn.
Okay.
Lewis Hall.
Okay.
Bruno. Joe Linton. Longstaff. Gordon. Isak. Murphy.
Yeah, I want to disagree with you, but I'll Lloyd Kelly.
Right.
He's been the player brought in. Eddie Howe said he was really pleased with him today. It's a clean sheet for him. Looked good on the ball. Played a role in the goal. Played the ball forward. So yeah, why Dan Burn over Lloyd Kelly?
So I'll go back to the point that you made earlier about loyalty with players, and I just don't see any way how Dan Burn drops out of the team currently now, because Eddie Howe has spoke countlessly about lots of players, and Dan Burn he loves Dan Burn, and rightly so, by the way, because
Dan Burn at centre back is solid.
I mean, he earned that last season, by the way. So I'm talking about, like, I think Lewis Hall should be in because of the form he had the back end last season. The same goes for Dan Burn. He was sort of hung out to dry at left back by the end, but then moved back into centre defence. And for those final 10 games, maybe less than that, he was, I think, probably 9 out of 10 in most of those games. So for me, I don't think we should forget that. I think he's earned a run at centre half. I think Lloyd Kelly will push him close, but I don't think he's quite there yet, Kelly, because he's only made 2 appearances. I think if Lloyd Kelly had a good run of pre-season, they might have a decision to make, but I think the decision, in my opinion, and I hope Eddie Howe agrees with this, where the decision's probably already made up because Dan Burns played the more minutes, and if you compare the two, as I thought Lloyd Kelly done well today. I think he's very good with his distribution. He played the ball along the line for the first goal, calm on the ball, but probably rusty in moments as well. Whereas I think Dan Burn is ahead in terms of fitness.
Yeah, I probably agree. I was trying to play devil's advocate, but you reminded me that that is in fact the case. Dan Burn, good form last season. He's looked ultimately better in pre-season because we've seen more of him, and he has been solid the times we have seen him. Lloyd Kelly is still getting up to speed, new surroundings. I actually asked Eddie Howe about Lloyd Kelly after the game, just saying what's his best position, because he's now played centre-back twice now. And Eddie Howe was like quite fluid with it. He said, look, he'll play centre-back, he'll play left-back. He sees him as a versatile player who can play both. The reason he's been playing centre-back is because obviously Sven Botman's out injured, and then at left-back they've had the likes of Lewis Hall, they've had Jamal Lewis, who've been able to be those natural or more natural left-back options. So I think Lloyd Kelly will have to earn his place in the Newcastle side, but it's Dan Burns to lose, and I think that team, the back five, picks itself. Sean Longstaff's an interesting one. Again, it's probably the same argument between him and Joe Willock, where it comes down to fitness, minutes.
I don't think we'll see a start. I don't think we'll see Joe Willock start until probably the middle of September, maybe for a Carabao Cup game, because I still think they're trying to manage his minutes. Now I know he got through quite a lot today, but I still think he's probably lacking a bit of match sharpness because he's barely played football for the last 12 months. And Sean Longstaff, as much as he's criticised a lot of the fan base, for me, when I watched him yesterday, looked fit, and he got through, I think, near enough. Was it 90 minutes?
We joked Eddie Howe would ask for him to play today, because there was obviously Alfie Harrison played, but there was that spare slot in the midfield where it was like, ooh, who's a first teamer going to play? Ultimately, he brings in a player from the under-21s, Eddie Howe. But Sean Longstaff, he plays 90 minutes in ridiculous conditions. We could barely sit watching a game in Tokyo, and then he plays last night, scores 2 goals, plays very well, and we were like, a day later, go on, Sean, go out there, do a job. And he probably would have if Eddie Howe needed him to. But I think that team probably picks itself. Injuries aside, because Fabian Schär, saw him before, he was limping out to St James's Park. Was it an ankle issue?
He felt an ankle twist, but Eddie Howe does hope he'll be okay for next week. He usually is. If there's one player we could sort of like he'll be fine, it's always Fabian Schär, because he always picks up knocks. He always gets ahead of you in the first 10 minutes of a game, and there's always a bit where he has to go off for treatment. I hope he'll be fine. But he did take a knock, so I'm not totally playing it down, but he's got a week to recover.
Yeah, you should be okay.
Unless, and if you want to look at patterns in pre-season, you might spring a surprise at how and put Emil Krafton at centre half. Maybe, possibly. I don't think it's a good idea, because Fabian Schär is the centre half. Emil Krafton is a makeshift.
I hope Mark Gahey's here. I hope Newcastle get their finger out and get a centre back signing. But whether that's Mark Gahey, we're not sure. Eddie Howe's again being coy on transfers. He's hopeful of getting one more through the door.
Said that last night.
At least, but whether that happens ahead of the new season,
time will tell. Sure. Time will tell.
It's been slow, hasn't it? Slow, really.
It
we saw Will Asula today, which was nice to see. But Lloyd Kelly again is nice to see, but it's bolstering the squad. We haven't had our socks blown off.
They need a big name. That's what they need. They need a high profile signing, because no disrespect to the players that have came in, but none of them players sort of spring out here, if you get what I mean. Like,
they're there to bolster the squad. That's what they're there for.
Whereas, and I think we've said this before, when they need a starter, someone that's theoretically would go straight into the team.
Is Mark Gahey a starter?
I know that's what I mean, because Fabian Schär is brilliant.
Everyone, a lot of people watching this will go, what are you talking about? 60? If you're paying 65 million for a centre-back, of course he's a starter. Mark Gahey, England international. Fabian Schär is, in my opinion, Newcastle's best centre-back of the last 20 years.
Yeah, I'm probably, because I'm going to show me age here, but people talk about Philip Alberbi and sort of one of the best centre-halves in terms of his style. Fabian Schär maybe has a similar style because of the way he can bring the ball out. Fabian Schär for me is the best centre half Newcastle have had. There's Jonathan Woodgate lovers out there, which I agree with.
We bumped into one in Japan.
Yes, and he loved Johnny Woodgate and wouldn't have any other people over Jonathan Woodgate, which I agreed with him.
It's always interesting.
But I think over longevity, Fabian Schär is absolutely in Newcastle's all-time, I'd say, Premier League.
Yeah, you
11.
have to. You have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll have. What about this lad?
There'll be a lot of people who disagree with my view here because our demographic will know a lot more players than what I do.
Me and Jordan are in our 20s.
Yes. Might not look it, but we are. You look younger than me. You look.
I'm clinging to my 20s with one hand.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting one if you're spending that sort of money on a player. If Newcastle do indeed agree a deal for Mark Gahey, I don't think he walks in Newcastle's starting 11.
No,
unless you play him as a left-sided centre-back. I think he probably does then with Sven Botman out injured. Yeah. But he doesn't replace Fabian Schär.
Yeah, I agree, but it's a statement sign, isn't it? You've got to say Mark Gahey, and I think that's what Newcastle are lacking because they've signed 5 senior players and 2 of them have been goalkeepers. One of them was from last season, and has been a free transfer, and another's a third-choice striker, although it did look good today. They just need someone that's going to come in and improve the start 11, and I don't think they've quite got that yet. Like Kelly may indeed be that person that eventually does it, but I still, in terms of the left-back options, left-side centre-half options, there's a lot in there. There's a lot of competition. So
yeah, we'll wait and see. Time will tell. And do you want to wrap up?
Yes.
Is there anything? Obviously, we've promised so much. We always over-promise. We thought Liam Kennedy would be back today. We spoke to him. He is alive. He is well.
Yeah.
He sends his apologies that he's not here. He's probably looking down on us. And he'll be back with you on Shots TV. I'm sure.
He's alive, but he's looking down on us. He's had a
like
busy
when
week.
you went on holiday. When you were looking down on us all that time.
He is alive. We must clarify. He's just had a very busy weekend, but
yes,
I'm sure. Now I don't want to make promises, but I'm sure. So I say 90% sure.
Liam's not the most reliable of people,
so
we'll just say that. We'll keep it open. Our next video might just be Jordan with a camera.
Yeah. So hopefully I'm back next week. No promises, but it's a strong. I think so. You'll be back next week.
Let's
sponsor.
Sorry. No, I was just saying we'll be on Shots TV. You and Liam.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Because you're having some time off, which is terrible, really.
It's the new season. I've got to get ready.
You've got to recover from Japan. I haven't recovered from Japan, so I'm quite jealous of you having some time off. I'm going to work through till next week, and hopefully the momentum and the adrenaline for Southampton at home will drag me through the week.
Then Bournemouth away.
I know you're back for. I mean, we'll have to. Yeah.
We need to sort that out. So but we'll be. Me and Jordan will definitely be back at Eddie Howe's press conference. I am back for that. So at the new state of the art media centre at the Newcastle training ground or next to it. So if you like what we do, of course, please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, ring the bell. Of course, big shout out to our sponsors, 4 Rivers Financial Planning, for all of your holistic financial needs. And Jordan, the thanks button as well.
Yeah, I keep banging the drum on this, but it is nice. As I say, we've had a few donations of late, which is extremely appreciated. I say all the money we get goes back into the pot to try and make these videos better. I think we're getting there.
We'll try and get Liam back on.
Liam needs an appearance fee.
We can't afford him at the moment.
Yeah, so please, if you want Liam to be back in the next Geordie Journeys video, press the thanks button, because we can pay him to be on here. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you at the training ground. We might do a video before and we might not, no promises on that, but we'll definitely be back at the training ground, me and Dom.
If something happens, I'm off, so something definitely will happen.
Yeah, usually.
It's always a signing when I'm off.
Yeah, well maybe you might see me later midweek, but no promises, that's just me speculating. But if not, me and Dom will definitely be back Friday after I spoke to Eddie Howe ahead of that big Southampton game. It's felt like a long time, but the season's finally back and we're looking forward to it. So, we'll catch you on the next videos, guys. Cheers.